Alright, y'all. Shalom. Before I start, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakorash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the like the Akim wa Akwath. Learning and teaching in truth and sincerity. This is going to be another video through the Spirit. Alright, I'm going to have to keep my emotions in check. But we're going to go through this, and I got these different spots saved. But this is going to be dealing with the Tuskegee experiment where syphilis was purposely injected inside of so-called black Negro males to see the effects. And as you can see right there from that picture, it don't look good. That man's blind in both his eyes. Alright. This devil, we're going to get some scriptures. We're going to play a couple of these talking points. And you're going to see two things. Alright. The wickedness that he is willing to go to for his hatred of us, the fact that he hates our people so much he's willing to do these atrocities to us, and the fact that you should never trust your enemy. Let's start with that. Alright, we understand that we live in this system. We have to get our twos and our fews, but there are certain things you do not have to do and participate in. And allowing this devil to force objects inside your body is something that you need to be sternly against. Alright, Sirach 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Alright? Do not trust this man. He will destroy you if you give him the opportunity. He'll destroy you if you don't give him the opportunity. Okay? So let's let this play. There's a lot of points I'm going to jump around to, so I'll try not to do as much talking, but I'll let this clip play, and by the time it's over, you'll be as pissed off as I am. Alright, so let's let it start back.
Considering the state of medical and in 1966, I was working for the U.S. Department of Public Health here in San Francisco. One day, I was talking with some fellow workers, and somebody mentioned the Tuskegee study. And I asked about it, and he said, well, yes, he had heard of a man in the South, a black man who had been insane and gone into his private physician and been treated for syphilis. And later, the private physician had been contacted and told that the man should not have been treated, that he was a participant, a voluntary participant in a human experiment on untreated syphilis. I certainly think to have used...
They were doing human experimentation upon us. And this is not the only incident. This is just one of the major ones. You best believe this country uses so-called black people as test dummies. And this video very well may get took down, so I'm choosing my words carefully. Alright. Because truly, we're the Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American. And Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, knows this, which is why he loves to cause us pain and suffering. So now that we have this established, the fact that they were putting things in us to see what the effects would be, we're going to be jumping forward now. Let's see.
As a direct result of syphilis. But now the Associated Press reports that the death toll may be as high as 100. Such publicity has finally resulted in state...
Way higher than that. So, like, these first couple minutes, there's basically just establishing the floor. The fact that we were tested upon and studied on, and were denied treatment.
Tonight, Black Journal will conduct...
and the experiment began in 1932. But it started hitting the press around the 60s and the 70s, decades after. So we're going to fast forward to these talking points after 8 minutes and beyond. Alright. So right here, I'm going to be getting scriptures for all this, y'all. But this is why you don't trust these devils, especially when it comes to things such as your body. Alright, like I said, we're in this system, so we have to function to a degree. But you need to learn when to put your foot down and when to say no. And that ultimate no is going to be coming when that mark comes out. Alright? So let's let this play.
A former employee of the U.S. Public Health Service first broke the story to the Associated Press.
The people involved really were not volunteers. It indicated that financial benefits and other medical benefits, treatment for diseases other than syphilis, had been offered these people, that burial fees had been paid or were being paid to those who were participating, and it also indicated that many of the men did not understand what the disease syphilis was and what it could do.
In
right there, they were luring Jake in with the promises of gain, of wealth, and we'll take care of this, we'll take care of that. And a lot of them didn't fully understand what was going on. All right, and the scripture comes to mind right here, Sirach 37:8. It says, "Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he hath. For he will counsel for himself, lest he cast a lot upon thee, and say unto thee, Thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee." And that's what happened to these Jake, man. I'm gonna let some of them pictures play. That slideshow, man, that shit I felt like I had little monsters crawling on my skin, man, looking at some of these pictures, the effects of syphilis. I didn't realize syphilis did some of this shit to you, dude. I didn't realize that, you know, I understand it can be sexually transmitted, but I didn't realize the actual how bad it hits you, man. This shit's bad, dude. This shit's bad. And like the scripture's saying, the way that these devils infected them, stood back and to see what the outcome was going to be. You can't trust everybody, man. Especially E. He will pretend like he's your friend, send you on out there, and you die out there. And he just takes notes and keeps it pushing. So now we're going to jump forward.
Plus risk.
The treatment for early syphilis, and we were in 2 large doses, so that there was a feeling among many
If the treatment was more dangerous than the disease,
that people with syphilis probably did as well without treatment as they did with it. That was the feeling about the time the study started, as I recall it.
So what he just said, they wanted to see that, would you survive longer with the illness and not getting treated, or would you survive longer with the illness while getting treated? Which we know is a bunch of malarkey, but that's just them talking, you know.
if the treatment was more dangerous than the disease, as Dr. Heller asserts, why was the government itself using that very treatment on thousands of clinic patients? In a report issued...
So right there, the treatment, because he mentioned arsenic and another arsenic and mercury, you know, if taking that is worse than having the actual issue itself, why would they even do such an experiment? What does that remind you of today? You know? Let me get this real quick, dog. This ain't nothing new, man. It's the same fucking playbook this dude been getting us with, dog. Let me get this real quick. Salaki, y'all. I mean, hey, I'm gonna let the video play. I just gotta back everything up with scripture, you know. Right here, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. All right, the devil yesterday, the devil today, and the devil tomorrow.
In 1936, co-authored by Dr. Heller, the Public Health Service stated that the arsenical treatment was adequate.
45, right? Look at this bitch that's about to be on screen, man. Fucking demon, man. This bitch a demon.
If they had lived 4 years
in public health.
This was a black demon named Nurse Rivers, who was helping them devils perform the experimentation and keep it a secret on her own people.
Doctors and men in the study from 1932 to 1965.
if they had lived 4 years and up with syphilis, the chances are that they would live longer with syphilis than they would have without treatment. With treatment, this is the theory.
Do you think now that, in retrospect, that they might have been lying to you? Do you think the doctors might have been lying to you about it all?
I don't know. I haven't had any thoughts of that. I don't know.
I haven't had any thoughts of that. You was just helping them tear your people up, huh? With no conscience. Alright, that's another enemy. E and the black bitch pit bull. Always beside her. And this is a curse that we dealing with. Our woman not with us. But this is... That bitch don't got no shame. That bitch then went to the grave old, while everybody else went suffering with that illness, man. No shame.
I don't think if they were, I really don't believe that they were telling a tale to be, you know. I think personally, I think that this was something that they were sincere in themselves.
Fucking lying.
Disagreeing with both Dr.
Man, he knows she was full of shit. And he about to say otherwise. I don't think they would be doing that just to tell a tale. A lot of our people walking around ain't right.
And Nurse Rivers is Dr. Vernal Cave, Director of VD Control for the New York City Health Department.
The arsenicals were very effective. We must recognize, of course, that with many medications there are problems. And there were problems associated with the arsenicals. But back in those days, people did not withhold treatment for the benefit of the patient. Doctors at that time had enough confidence and faith in the arsenicals, a belief that they were helping rather than hurting their patients, to immediately move to the use of arsenicals.
So what he was saying is, basically back in that day, if they had the medicine to help you, they would have helped you. But those doctors, they purposely withheld it because they wanted to see Jake. They wanted him to get fucked over. All right, so it wasn't an innocent mistake like that black bitch was saying. It was done purposely. All right, so let's fast forward some more. Let's fast forward. Fucking son of a bitch, man. That bitch the worst of them all.
To treat patients for syphilis. What I understand from reading the paper is that the patients were supposed to have been told that if they wanted to be treated for their syphilis, they should ask for it, be treated, and then be taken out of the study.
Dr. James says he was told not to treat syphilitic patients participating in this study.
Well, any patient who came to me and I examined him and I thought he needed treatment, I routinely gave him treatment without any knowledge that he was in this particular study. But once I decided to treat him with the arsenicals or bismuth, then I was informed that this was a patient in the study and don't treat that patient.
These men were never told that they could not go to any doctor.
So them two dudes right there, they just broke it down. You know, the men in the experiment, they were being refused treatment. And here come this bitch. They wasn't told they couldn't go. Ooh, Jake. Ooh, Jake. Hey, man, that's why the scriptures say what they say, man. Let's go to Micah real quick, man. You know, let this be a lesson, you know, in today's time, y'all. That's why our apostles over here tell us not to take that yippa yap, man. Fuck what that fat nigga with IUSBK saying. You go ahead and have your congregation get tore up with that shit, and we over here gonna sit back and watch what the fuck happened, man. We can't even trust your own woman. You think you can trust the devil with your body and soul? You fucking idiot. Micah 7:5. Trust ye not in a friend. Put ye not confidence in a guide. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom, man. This ain't no motherfucking joke. There's people that want us dead out here. But these Jake fell into the trap. You know, he set a snare, which is why King David, in which always put up prayers for yourself, for the brothers, for the elders, for your family, immediate family, if you have one. Because this devil's out here literally setting up all kinds of snares, y'all. This motherfucker is trying to just whack us, bro. He wants us picked off, as they say. Pick them off, all right? Matter of fact, I ought to get it in 65. I'll get it in both. Psalms 38:12. They also that seek my life lay snares for me, and they that seek my hurt speak mischievous things and imagine deceits all the day long, telling you that you're going to be okay, you know, we're going to give you all these benefits, but really they're giving you a disease that's going to kill you shortly. That's mischievous things, man. All right? It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? That's what them doctors did. They set up a whole experiment to fuck all of us over, get it transmitted to your wives and to your children, and you know, it didn't come out till decades after the fact. Verse 6, they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. So they studied, and they released it. They released it on our asses, man, and we was none the wiser. Let's do another jump now. 15 minutes, 20 seconds.
Any doctor. They were always, when doctors would leave them, they would tell them to see their family.
And he was in the town of Tuskegee, inaccessible to the farmers living miles away.
So right here, this is just showing you the only Jake doctor at the time. He didn't know what was going on, but he wouldn't even been able to help the people anyway.
Adequate. Even care was deliberately withheld. Mr. Pollard says he was turned away from treatment, and Dr. James says he wasn't able to treat patients in the study who requested it.
Yep. So the Jake doctor was being told, you can't help your people, or you're gonna have a problem with us, and we might take you out back and open your head up.
Both assert that medical care was deliberately withheld, even when requested.
This video better not get flagged, man.
Medical care for southern rural blacks in Macon County is shamefully inadequate, even today. But in 1932, there was only one black doctor for the entire county, and he was in the town of Tuskegee, inaccessible to the farmers living miles away. Most of them had never even seen a doctor in 1932. So the possibility of seeing a family physician was almost out of the question.
Exactly. You know, so yeah, one of those things that you always hear in the commercials, oh, make sure you refer to your family physician. We never had any. So that's basically them saying, we got you, you know, we got you. We're about to give you this and you're fucked. You know, get out our face. Come on, man.
Dr. Williams was a young intern assigned to the Tuskegee study. For many of these rural blacks, the visit to this clinic is made on foot and may involve. This OEO-sponsored mobile unit serves as a hospital. In Macon County rely on a mobile clinic which makes periodic visits into the area. Here it is set up several miles off
the very beginning, which they have an ulcer. The secondary stage, in which they have a general stage of the disease itself.
Stage of the disease, and therefore couldn't.
Was it transmitted to others? What do you think? Yeah, that's another thing. They were telling the patients, so-called, you know, the ones that they did choose to tell more about it. Oh, it won't be it can't be transmitted. It can't be transmitted, man. Come on.
Infect others, but Dr. James disagrees.
These people are infectious, depending upon the stage of the disease itself.
Dealing with, man. That's a fucking plague, man. That should make you want to kill yourself. You got shit growing on you. Don't know what the fuck it is. Body feeling weird, hot and shit, tweaking, can't see. This is the man that we dealing with, and this is going to be a little bit longer video because I'm getting all these different clips. This is the man that we dealing with, man. Right here, Job 2 and 8. It says, and he took him a potsherd. I'm gonna start right here, 7. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. You know, he was vexed. He said, "Fuck." And he got him a piece of potsherd. Basically, there's imagine, if you will, a piece of clay. You know, you can break it off from a pot. But they sometimes you look at the Greeks. They had like, and Job wasn't Greek. He came way before the Greeks. But there was a tool you could use to scrape shit off your skin, man. That's how bad the shit was. He was trying to scrape the boils off of him, man.
Stage of the disease itself. The most infectious stage of syphilis is the primary stage, the very beginning, which they have an ulcer. The secondary stage, in which they have general.
You know, brothers know about this guy's channel. He's like a black historian. I think he knows he's an Israelite. You know, so he has a lot of these clips flowing around, but this is like, you can only watch like 1 or 2 of these a day, bro. You'll be ready to kill it.
Dermatitis or certain, without any treatment, transmitted by sexual relations.
A 1936 Public Health Service article clearly states that at least 26 men in the study had their syphilis for 3 years.
Certainly, as stated in the article, the 26
years. But is there...
These individuals were infectious.
The surviving patients in the Tuskegee study.
Come on, dog. Come on, man. This is why we have good reason not to trust this guy. We are not crazy. We have very good reason. What the fuck would you do if you woke up with that shit on your face, man? Come on.
He no longer bear these brutal marks.
This is why our elders and apostles tell us not to be not to let this man do your body any old type of way. And you know what I mean when I say that, because I'm trying to be very careful with my wording. More than likely, they're going to take this video down and take the channel that I put it up to, so we're going to see. But I want y'all to see this, man. Type of shit growing out your ass, dog. I didn't even know syphilis did this to you, bro.
Of the disease. These lesions usually heal within 2 years.
That's a long time to be walking around looking crazy. All right? This devil is not on our side. He's not on our team. He wants us dead, and he'll do so by many means. Right here, Sirach 11:33. Take heed of a mischievous man, for he worketh wickedness, lest he bring upon thee a perpetual blot, man. You got to take heed when you're dealing with E, bro.
These lesions usually heal within 2 years. But is there any possibility of a relapse back into the infectious stage? Dr. Millar.
Not in terms of a woman in the childbearing period now is infected. She can transmit this disease to an unborn child.
This child was born dead of syphilis.
That kid didn't even make it out he fucking fell out the bitch dead, man. Nigga fell out the pussy hole dead. Fucking with this devil, bro.
But even if the...
And all you idiots went out here and let this man do you greasy. And now you got shit circulating in your blood. Goofy asses, man. Let this man do
infant infected with syphilis in the womb survives birth. He faces at any time in his life the horrors of physical deformity, mental disease, blindness, and death. Even after penicillin was developed in 1943, it wasn't used in the study to treat the participants.
In those days, there was not enough penicillin. The Army and Navy, the armed forces, had almost a complete sole supply of penicillin. And another thing was that
so you see this devil. Now I didn't let y'all see him talk much, but at first you're saying, oh well, we didn't know it was. Here it is. You went from not knowing to knowing that penicillin could cure it or to fight it. Well, we can't get a hold of the. Just a liar, dog. They're liars.
Was that physicians generally many did not believe that penicillin was effective in syphilis, particularly in latent syphilis. Results of treatment.
I stalled the medical world by announcing that just a little bit of penicillin. This for very long without knowing that once penicillin is widely available, then we must use it in the treatment of all stages of syphilis.
So what that Edomite was saying, oh well, we didn't have it, we didn't know if it would work, we didn't have enough, and Jake just clearly told you they had enough and they knew it worked at that time. All right, or a little bit after, you know, because they didn't have it directly yet in 1932, but as the years went on, when they had it, they still chose not to give it to them. All right, and I'll get the final clip. Damn, I'll get the final clip, man.
Well, by 1946, and suffered far more heart disease than did syphilis. In 1936, 4 years after the study began, the government concluded that untreated syphilitics had a greater death rate and suffered far more heart disease than did syphilitics who were treated.
No duh. So if you caught it and you didn't get help, you was gonna suffer more. No duh. You know, let me let this last clip play. Boy, I don't know where this bitch is at.
The patients who were to receive the medication were directed to us by the people in charge.
I mean, I am not worried about what they say that I was withholding the treatment, because I was not the doctor. I was a nurse. And nurses don't prescribe. I feel that knowing many of the things that that I have done and helped in helping people and helping the folks in other ways, I have no feeling about that, because that was a doctor's responsibility.
The Tuskegee study.
You know, the devil fucking you over and your woman helping him and don't give a shit, man. This ain't no joke, y'all. This ain't no joke, man. Be wise out here. And I'll get this to end it out of Ephesians, man. We ain't playing with these motherfuckers not on our team, nor for our benefit. This is why the apostles have been warning us for the longest, all right, dealing with the mark that's coming and dealing with what just happened a couple years ago. All right, we are being very reasonable for being suspicious of the American government. All right, Ephesians 5:15. See See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Plain and fucking simple, man. Alright, so with that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Korash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the Akim wa Akwath, learning and teaching truth and sincerity. I'm going to say Shalom.